I come to you speaking not just as a parent and taxpayer, but I come as a spokesperson representing several thousand of our community who feel likewise. I do want to acknowledge, I think that is a very substantial number when we talk about the whole of our community, all of which are not aware of this case. I think the number of people who have shown up in support is pretty remarkable considering how contained this should have been to an elementary school. The public, oh, forgive me because I don't have my reading glasses. The public requests explanation for the need to have Solicitor Beard present at board meetings. In particular, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, it's got so much better. Thank you. In particular, physically present, necessitating payment for his travel time, as opposed to perhaps joining online, either of which seem costly and unwarranted and not in keeping with prior protocol prior to the Pappas ordeal. Mr. Beard told us this evening that demand for observance and accountability of law and protocol is, quote, really not appropriate. The public continues to request transparency of action or explanation of the dereliction of duties of Solicitor Beard, Superintendent Cerner Hine, Assistant Superintendent McCollum, and the board. It is really hard for me to say that because I do so appreciate the job that all of you mentioned do. In the appropriate PDE and district reporting and investigation for record tampering, launching allegations and demotion proceedings without appropriate investigation, and failure to follow mandated reporter protocols. As you have now been served the closing statements of the Pappas hearings, we seek to ensure the board's understanding of appropriate participation of Solicitor Beard in deliberation. Separation of functions. If the solicitor acted as the hearing officer, and he did, he should generally not be involved in the final deliberations or vote, as this presents an appearance of impartiality issues. The board should make its own decision based on the evidence presented. Board decision, not solicitors. A legal vote requires a majority of a quorum of the school board members. The solicitor's presence is not required for the vote to be valid, as he is not a voting member. No vote in executive session. The board may not vote to demote an employee during a private executive session. The final vote must occur in a public meeting. Please note for the board and public that today marks a half a year of Pappas removed from the workplace with his career and family wellness held in limbo. The independent cost of Pappas's legal defense is $39,340.72 prior to the very significant billing for closing remarks. Every penny of this was avoidable and an inexcusable act on the part of our district. And we now face the extenuating cost and liability, which mounted with every day of inaction. Please note the public attempt to protect and respect our board members. Please also reasonably respect that dereliction of duties leaves us with no choice but to advance the need to hold you accountable with investigative and legal action, for which you've now opened yourselves up to your independent. You've lost your liability protection by not following the PDE protocols. I have requested a meeting with the Budget Committee to address viable strategies to reduce district expense and liability in 3 areas, with one of these points including the Pappas events. Please note that no concern or criticism has been posed without offering viable solutions. Imperative information and invitation for both board and individuals to share their positions has been consistent. But unfortunately, it has not been respected. This evening, President Fortney gave the first response. Unfortunately, she has not responded to the pertinent issues in that response. What she did effectively do is continue to demean and diminish the public voice. With regard to what she did address, the voter to votes received per board member, which President Fortney challenged, was based on the total number of voters in that election, not the sum total of residents, which does roughly correlate to the total votes received by each board member, as well as the total number of petitioners who signed the petition, just to offer clarity, illustrating the residents invested in civic responsibility. There was a suggestion of following the need to follow legal protocol. The board was legally sound to reinstate Pappas at any point, including during this meeting. Due process has not been followed. There remains no evident grounds to demote Pappas. With respect to the Pappas supporters of borough integrity, we have walked this ruling path with you. You have not been alone. So while I do sympathize with the exhaustion, I also empathize. I've also spent many hours, well in excess of 40 now, away from my family and children to champion the integrity of our borough and of each of you. And I hope you hear that there is not a single personal attack in anything that I or I think these people have said. Please take heed of our student presentation this evening that spoke against bullying and encouraged resolution that is, quote, respectful and responsible. Well, I think I already said it, but I'm going to conclude with it again. I speak not as a single person, but as a spokesperson for a much larger portion of our community, seeking to protect our financial interests and the protective protocols for our educators, and to heal the integrity necessary to build a better borough. Thank you.